Actually, oh,
You have, because you seem a lot wiser, and I'm just coming into it all.
no, what? I got that on video.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so funny. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I am a little bit behind, like obviously
You.
I'm young, so I do young things.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll get there, I'll catch you. Yeah. What else do you want me to say on here?
Just anything. This is supposed to be the last stuff.
I don't know. You have to give me a topic.
That's the point of discussion.
You can think of something.
I know, I can't. I'm trying to.
Let's think. I can't think of it right now. I need to like think of things on the spot. Oh, I'm struggling.
Is there a movie that stands out, like, kind of got your attention? Or got you started interested in movies?
I don't know what was the turning point for movies as such. Maybe it was The Vampire Diaries, but I think something that stood out to me that I recently watched wasn't like my favorite movie. It wasn't like. Did you already capture the last bit
Or last bit?
about the muse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You did. I don't know what I do on my free time. I think being a writer, you can go one of two ways. You can choose to be boring and do nothing with your free time. But I guess I don't choose to see it that way. I go the other way, and I use my adventures as an escape, and I guess as something to write about, but also that's what I do on my free time. I guess it all mixes into one. My free time is my fun, it is my muse, and it is where I escape to. My life experience is, I don't know, it is my, oh, I don't know, lost it. I was very doubtful of myself and my performance. And one time on my game, we were getting our ass kicked, and we were down, and I just lifted myself up, and there was just this rush of power over me, and I just went in, I stepped like 3 players, and I dove to the try line and I scored, and it was just probably one of the best feelings ever. Just it was what I lived for. Yeah, it was awesome.
Your perceptions of autistic people?
I think
Even if it sounds cliche or stereotypical or...
In a way, I feel like they're very in tune with themselves. So everything they're feeling in that moment comes out in their art. Whether that's them running, they feel the adrenaline's on the page. Whether that's being distraught and them pouring all of their feelings of distraught, anger, everything onto the page or onto the canvas or onto their song. That's what I think it means to be an artist, is to really be in tune with yourself and be able to portray that to people.
What's something you admire or even possibly envy that you think that artistic people can do, but you don't do, sort of thing? And that's not just professionally, that's just like personally, professionally, or whatever, it's in general.
I think something that I can't do personally is back myself 100% like they do. You can't be an artist and not back yourself. You put 101% into everything you do. And whilst I feel like I do put all my effort in, I feel like it's not all there. And I wish I could do that. I wish I could just go full steam ahead and it would, you know what I mean? I feel like I could just be backed up.
Okay.
Someone who is one. Like, I'm an artist in my own way. Like, my acting is an art, but it's very different to writing or very different to painting something. So when I'm acting, it's not acting. I bring in real life experiences into my work. So therefore, it's not acting, and it's not an art because I'm not. It is an art. Don't get me wrong. It is an art. It's just a different form of art, and it's an art that I guess what I'm trying to say is everyone uses their life experiences in their art, and some artists, whether it be an author or a writer or anything, they can go full steam ahead with whatever they're working on. Whereas me, I have doubts, and I guess I know everyone has doubts, but those doubts can stop you big time from performing to your best or getting up on that stage.
So you still got to break free from whatever.
Yeah. The what everyone's going to say, what they're going to say, what he's going to look at me in this sort of way, it prevents you from really reaching your potential, I guess. Well, for me, anyway.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone who is one. Like, I'm an artist in my own way. Like, my acting is an art, but it's very different to writing or very different to painting something. So when I'm acting, it's not acting. I bring in real life experiences into my work. So therefore, it's not acting, and it's not an art because I'm not. It is an art. Don't get me wrong. It is an art. It's just a different form of art, and it's an art that I guess what I'm trying to say is everyone uses their life experiences in their art, and some artists, whether it be an author or a writer or anything, they can go full steam ahead with whatever they're working on. Whereas me, I have doubts, and I guess I know everyone has doubts, but those doubts can stop you big time from performing to your best or getting up on that stage.
So you still got to break free from whatever.
Yeah. The what everyone's going to say, what they're going to say, what he's going to look at me in this sort of way, it prevents you from really reaching your potential, I guess. Well, for me, anyway.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You used to grow up. No.
On Friday Night Flick, the funny thing about modern times is it's easier to bear fruit, but more falsehoods provided too, developing in their myth that grows, and more resentment is given whenever someone dares tell them the truth. And in time, what is born as an open mind idea, and you continue to grow with it, becomes more converting as you age with it. The funny thing about protesting the elite is that they had to run the idea of forming together to exalt, exchange, to work together on human intelligence and reinforce growth amongst another first. Like mastering love in marriage, status and power often takes a bit of life. Morality is the acts of humans, entwining with human emotion but relying on what's the ignored. Oh, oops. Sorry.
No, you're right.
Where was I up to? I can't remember. I think I'll go from here.
Yeah.
Amongst one another first. Like mastering love in marriage, status and power often takes a bit of life to do the same. Morality is the acts of humans, intertwining with human emotion, but relying on what's the best results. It's a forever revolving door. A history lesson is often overlooked, unnoticed, or ignored. The reason why people continue to join these clubs, perhaps, is the allure of mystical wisdom. But if the ideology has taught us anything, there are systems everywhere, whether it be political, cultural, or social. But with the rise of public education, so does modern propaganda, personal opinion, and more hidden truths in plain sight. The running of stories about the Illuminati, that it makes sense, explains what the world is. But the veil of it just being fictitious stories. That's silly. Remember, humanity corrupts power, not the other way around. As for systems in place, it's a fight for better results. Even if Earth had no elites in societies, still, not reaching for a better life, it is an unforgivable folly of humanity. And if you learn anything about literature, truth is stranger than fiction. As the most bizarre art, the most graphic art, if it presents itself stranger than fiction. As the most bizarre art, the most graphic art, if it presents itself as art, normally the world would at least accept it as art. Though, when applying it to reality, I am hesitant. But to what's normal in one culture, at first it's a little strange in another culture. While in the West, steak is a common meal, meanwhile in India, cows are worshipped. At the moment, I'm sure the end gathers only immortality, while working death is a master, while working so they're alive. Maybe it's the motivation to distribute ways for others, the lower class, to stay where they are, so no one is replaced. At least for now, in anger, we break the glass of the Starbucks store while aiming for our professional goal. Those with the loudest minds, quietest voices. I don't think money is what people love, just admiration. Money is just a keystone for measurement. God hates sin. Satan punishes sin. The internet is doing more for global culture than any political party is doing. Constructive criticism is important. I don't think social media is inherently either good or bad, but it has highlighted a lack of and lacking emotional maturity. Venting is easier. Rather processing an idea and finding articulated language to represent publicly. But the awareness of people's lives is knowing what they are good at, providing valuable info for those in charge. Not often is social media credited as a coping system to provide a platform to vent rather than bottling it up and finding someone you care enough to sit and listen. Pre-existing conditions and the discovery of triggers too. You never know who's watching. Though a well-balanced thought of duality of whatever can provide more credit. The rise of valuable things has come out. Movements, ideas and education would only have minimal views. And yes, the same with disinformation. Fuck, I'd be able to do the same. There's cyberbullying, lack of privacy, and an impact on interpersonal relationships in the face-to-face world. But your lack of education on language itself could be the cause of negative impacts of social media. The term friend online does provide an intimate bond between people. Yes, you could have friends online for a moment in the presence of one another, but a range between two in a geological sense in the real world prevents certain skills from being in play. At least there are platforms now for those who have something to offer to build an audience. On the climate of the world, opportunity is equal, but matching the equality of those who take it. Know the relation between outlaw and But matching the equality of those who take it. Know the relationship between outlaw and entrepreneur. You get to age where things in life start affecting your immune system, and if you're still on the vice, circles and circles. Shame. There's a grey area in providing wisdom. Being a little nervous, anxious, and a little doubt could go a long way when it comes to love. At least you know how the other person feels presently, with motivation to improve. I don't know why people get turned off by that. Nothing else would scare me more than being married to a person whom I'm certain indefinite language to describe. I'm not advocating falling in love with the potential, but you get the gist of it. Loving them now, leaving space to improve, as I do the same. At least keep it private, not a secret. When you have enough people telling you something, the common denominator is you. Law is not what we can't do, but a reflection on us as well. Supporting originality and individuality first. Reforming the world is in search of searching for perfection. Immortality belongs to youth, wisdom to the older, but regret and shame are for all. But you get to an age where one's character is so important. There will be always problems when you get to modern times. No one has the answers. It may be simple, but everyone alive has contributed to the evil and the good of this earth. Poetry is a funny thing. Everyone heard what I said from all I did. If it's all love never happens until it happens to you. Worship no person. It's never my issue to enlighten other people, but I am responsible for myself and my spoken word. Understanding is two ways. I am blessed to explain whatever to someone who wouldn't know otherwise, because I am blessed to learn things I was once too ignorant. Read more, think more, then speak more. You'll never know what you'll find. Know when it's my business. Not practicing mindfulness. Know when you're going into my disease. Knowing where my part is in the things Not practicing mindfulness. Know when going into my disease. Knowing where my part is in things. How to pause. Not to do things till it's exhausted. Not being present. Going into thought. I think I can endure myself. Oh, for God's sake. Sorry. I think I just need a break for a second.
Yeah, of course.
Going into thought, I think I can endure when on self while not dealing with emotional damage. Not being aware in a constant way. Expectations practice decision making. Not thinking before acting. I'm inclined to do things alone. I tend to latch onto things or other people. I think I get this from my mother. Got too big for my own shoes, not the right sized. I struggle to let go. I misinterpret things, a feeling to be or to do perfectly when I'm going well. Things aren't going to work out. I act out. Acceptance of reality, not to give in to fantasy or self-made delusion. The past, the mistakes, etc. Fear of being exposed. Admitting who I am, especially to those whom I care. Not knowing something makes me go into angst, struggle to make or initiate any honest connection. Still, acting on addiction, profoundly dissatisfied with myself. I feel empty, self-sabotaging character traits, always repeating things, knowing that the same results will happen. I've got to try harder, and don't tell anyone. Natural feeling of learning how to do it myself. It feels like I'm chasing false ideas. I don't have people I can talk to. I don't feel my highs as much as I feel my lows. I still go into bad ways to cope. Hanging on to resentment and hate I fear quite strongly. I suffer from irrational thinking, passions, etc. Fear of being alone, the inability to be patient, instant gratification in the meantime, continue with some sort of normality until a change is coming. Not taking a moment to see how I'm acting or reacting, not pondering, impulse. Being not able to let go of shame, I look for stimulation. I'm addicted to being constantly stimulated. I've got patterns of angst and insecurity. When getting into and even starting a relationship, I often have the need for attention and validation. A lot of life still happens in my head. I often try to make a strain of last. I exhaust everything rather than hurt. I get lonely a lot of times. Always shifting blame or anger. I'm living in guilt.
Sorry, keep going.
I continue to allow things to affect me. Same with preconceptions. I'm single-minded. I do things out of vanity, expectations, to live with a projection of myself. I struggle hard with rejection. My emotions, they do get poisoned towards others who are more successful than I am in my area. Dealing with loneliness and lack of seeing meaning. Dealing with suffering, I often wait till it's too late for something to change. To do, I don't fully understand. The concept of responsibility, I struggle to continue being aware and stopping here and there to see if I'm doing the right thing. I think it derives from my mind wandering, the need to do something all the time, and the lack of personal control. The distraction model. I don't have the act of being reflective and usage of force control. Always going into my head. Myself, it's a lack of self-worth of myself or what I'm doing. I'm not in the right mindset, and I don't think I will get noticed. I don't hold myself responsible, nor do I have anyone keeping. I lack self-worth. Maybe I can't let go of negative thinking and emotions. Holding on to resentment, I think I don't have healthy relationships. Lacking in motivation and laziness. Numbing out with things that add into it. No patience. How I feel about myself. I lack self-worth, maybe. I can't let go of negative thinking and emotions. Holding on to resentment. I think I don't have healthy relationships. Lacking in motivation and laziness. Numbing out with things that add into it. No patience. How I feel about myself isn't matched on the outside. I don't follow through on things. I'm thinking too much about emotional attachment, not knowing and not being able to control the things and people I love and care about. Wanting control, the natural inclination. Wanting control, the natural inclination to negativity. I often think what I do is pointless, without meaning, or I'm actually transferring what I feel inside outwards to the external. Unnoticed by the uncaring people around me, I cannot perform the actions I need to do to get where I want to go. Things fall apart, then rebuild and continue in a cycle until I die. I matter to myself and no one else. It allows me to exhaust things till they break. I'm mismatched, so if I can change it, it grows. I'm not assertive, and I often do not articulate myself. This in terms of what else happens. Otherwise, that prevents me where I belong. Don't change environments and stay with what I know. I find out how to break out, so it's hard to find people to help, to motivate me to do so. Go with new things. I normally have to warm. It normally sets me in a routine, and often I don't learn new things. Feeling so overwhelmed. It stems from social rejection, others not including me, knowing how to start things. I guess slowly getting into it, or overcoming my angst. Find people I want to talk to. Write thought out conversations, break it down and start slowly. in just say something like, often I come here I often come here to meditate. I like the calm, I like the quiet. The rush of life is busy, noisy, too much. I like to find quiet spots like this, bushwalks. Nature helps ground me. It's where I feel the most comfortable. It's where I feel happy. Being alone in the nature, it's comforting.
Rare is speechless. I have met both toxic and ideal love partners. Neither wants anything to do with me. I am hopeless and alone. I don't want to be saved or to save. Just not anything. Sorry, can I do it again? With that, is the role of philosophy not meant for now, but the potential for humanity? More like results in a few individuals scattered around. They're people, not messiahs. I had spent several efforts trying to write out philosophical rules, but one thing anyone should do. Uphold several efforts trying to write out. Oh my god, why do I keep repeating myself? Repeating myself twice. Okay, hang on. Uphold several efforts to write. Okay, ready. But one thing anyone should do. Uphold a conversation with a prostitute. There is always a sense no one understands how modern culture is built. What brings forth the satanic verses? When one accepts all is laughed at, while the other is in fantasy of being a human angel. As a loner, it's hard to formulate a philosophy for a wider audience. But due to my lack of skill in language, I barely write about myself. I feel deeply in this area, let alone being in the abundance of applied knowledge. Philosophers are not clergymen of knowledge. Have you been caught between laughing at someone and feeling sorry for them? Resenting them and emphasizing with them? I don't know what your problem is. Real beauty is inarticulate. Like sex, maybe it's the experience or the ability to feel pressure, a moment without a doubt. Conception in sex killed the double standards of sexual choices. And of course, not all the care. Sex itself can go without shame and regret. The veil of the outside, maybe all it is to display what the inside feels like. Like identity, perhaps beauty can only be expressed. I always think that there's a logical part to it, rising in explicit ways, revealing honesty, that can't be turned away from. The idea of freedom of speech stops in common talk, limiting our behaviours in pornography, expressing what most yearn to do. A display of sexuality is at the core of basic humanity. It's reproduction. At least pornography isn't dishonesty, as art is satire, though it is easy to say who's on the top, or the ones who are pulling the strings, funding advertisement, leading companies and innovating artists. The beauty they conceptualize often eventually drips or trickles into the lower parts of culture. Everyone has a fantasy, but in context, beauty or the taste of it changes from period to period. Naomi Wolf proposes that the new boy is another form of language. Cool.
As Adam's finger points out, we all fall short in touching God. The shape of that painting matches the human brain. It is hard to accept that no one can make it on their own. I still stand by those symbols and translate where language and actions can't convey. Since writing in my diary entries, I still stand by those symbols, translate where language and actions can't convey. Since writing in my diary entries, I think I've been using those, my vlogs included, that I am trying to replace conversations I would have had if I had constant friendships. At times, it's largely overlooked that it's emotionally exhausting to carry on knowing that life is hard, and that's the starting point, generally always. Scenes from Taxi Driver about the lonely experience or wanting the rain to wash away the filth of humanity. Neither Shakespeare nor Mozart won't go away. I've got no one I could talk to. I mean, no one. I feel comfortable in doing so. Perhaps it's more likely me, in my lack of emotional development. Are the statues from Rome or Greece? I always start and stop. Fair enough. That can be on me. Ready.
Yeah, I forgot.
Sleep, which is a normal human act to do so. Work, chores and so on. But I don't think I've ever found anyone I could melt in with as a source of friendship. I journal in some sort of way. In diary entries often I write about my day, with some random thoughts, morals and so on. I wouldn't be writing those if I had daily conversations. These lists are larger, formatted forms. My vlogs are visual expressions. On a side note, I do sometimes take a photo of where I am. When I have enough of them, I put them in an ebook. I don't normally push any of that, and it's an area I've been slacking on. Being able to read others' philosophical works, how can I repay you? Cultural patterns, journals, diaries, blogs, letters and so on, starting points. Though on the same level, furthermore, the level of modern illusions has increased seemingly, starting from social issues. It's like it's touching so many hallucinations. I don't think anyone truly knows how fragile their world is. When you're intellectual or emotionally underdeveloped, it's often stricken up as personal issues though. When someone looks into the mortal matrix and social norms, no one is wondering how anyone got here. No one ever holds me accountable. I'm left alone. What will ever be the spark that lights the tinder for personal growth, that kills the arrogance attached to the ego, to allow actual humility in someone? It can be solely moth to flame or an own transcending into a human soul, because it seems that distracts you from sitting still, allowing thoughts to wander, but quite potentially sparking emotions that remind one from reality. Making you feel like the way you want. As angels sing, it's a distraction. But does your demons know that you call it invulnerable moments of clarity? To me, the demons know where your heart lies, or even the words spoken to make it so. As all your friends say, it's not for you.
Oh, like that. Or like what?
I can't remember. It's very like cozy, arms up, arms down, like it's very
I'm pulling your leg. I got.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not? I got that on film.
What? You got me doing what?
Just trying to figure it out.
Okay, so I know what I'm doing.
Doesn't have any context.
It's just being me.
Yes.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
What, in general?
Yeah. Tell me everything you like in general.
I like peace and quiet.
Yeah.
I like I do like having fun, but like you were saying before, as
What's
long
your
as
idea of fun?
reading, sleeping, being boring.
No, I don't believe it.
Okay, I do like reading. Yeah. I don't mind my sleep, but I don't do much sleeping. So I can be very impulsive. So it's that. I like doing little adventures.
Yeah.
I like urban exploring. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I don't know. I always find like I've always had this dream of just finding like stumbling upon weird stuff, like pagan stuff, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you yet?
No, but I found weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So little adventures. I used to be very. I'd run off and just go on a little event. Furthest I've ever gotten was Alice Springs. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the furthest out west that I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
So.
And you just drove there?
No, hitchhiked and took buses and stuff and.
Okay.
Yeah. Walked. I made
Okay.
an Aboriginal friend too doing it, so it was interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. See, not boring.
No.
Not boring.
I'd like just doing random stuff, so. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't mind being open, but I think I got the same problem as you. If you ask me,
You can't
sure.
think of it.
Yeah, I can't think of it. So.
Okay. So, what's a typical day for you look like?
If I'm actually working, when I'm doing stuff like this, I normally wake up about just before 7.
Yeah.
Go have some coffee,
Yep.
which is a must start.
Yeah.
With whatever book I'm reading at that time, which is I'll go down to my cafe, read for a couple of hours,
Wow.
get through 2 or 3 books. If I'm writing for the day, I'll write. If I'm doing film stuff, I do film stuff like this.
Oh.
Afterwards, I'll go for a jog or attempt to go for a jog.
Yep.
Exercise, try to exercise.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in the mood to do things that night. Sometimes, if I'm not, I'll stay home and continue writing or film stuff.
Oh.
So, and this is normally I'm very one of the girls would want me to do something with her,
Yeah.
or for her or something like that. And then
Yeah.
I take her out and spend too much money and
That's
whatever. Yeah.
The money part, not so nice, but it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
See? Boring? No.
Yeah.
No. It's not. Okay. You got any future plans?
Yeah, other than growing into a better person.
Yeah.
Hopefully be able to make a living, a proper living.
Yeah.
Even though I am earning money at the moment from it, but make a better living. I don't know, just travel more. I'd probably like to eventually live in France, but
Okay. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
What places haven't you seen?
a lot.
Okay.
I've never been to Africa or East Europe or anything like that.
Awesome. So put them on the list.
Yeah, they're on the list.
See, that's not boring. That's something.
Yeah. It's either that or working for some sort of volunteer place.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mm.
That's rewarding. It's so rewarding.
Yes.
Okay.
You got a bucket list or anything?
I don't have a bucket list as such. I think that comes under the fact that I don't plan. But I guess by the time that, in the next 10 years, I want to visit most parts of the world, I want to, I don't know, I just have things I want to see. But it's not in an order. It's not, I want to do this in this place. It's just, I want to get it done eventually. And it's just visiting the parts of the world, seeing all the different cultures and all the different people and their way of life, because that's so exciting. Seeing something outside my norm, which is their normal. And I guess just fulfilling my dreams, fulfilling my dream at the time. And my dream at the time now is obviously acting. So I guess fulfilling that dream would be awesome. But other than that, yeah, I don't have a bucket list, but yeah, I'd love to do crazy things. Like, it's exciting. So I don't know. I guess maybe shark diving is on the list. I don't know. Whatever pops up is where I'll be. Yeah.
You seem pretty open-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think whatever comes at me, I'm just ready to do. Like, if a trip is planned with other people, I'm just like, yeah, I'll be there. You know, I'll make it work. I'll be there. Or I want to go here. Yeah, no worries. I'll work around work and I'll be there. So I love just being there for everyone and being around everyone. So whatever their dreams are, I go with them. You know, if they want to go to America, that's where I go. So on. You know. Yeah. Easy going like that. Yeah. It just stood out, and it was, I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Where the Crawdads Sing. It's like newly released in the movies, and it just sort of made me walk away questioning everything. And like, normally once I watch a movie, I'm like, yeah, okay, like that was it. But like, I walked away and I was like, I thought about it for days, and I was like, just couldn't get the image out of my head of the scenery, and I loved it. Like, having that location, being on set on that location would have been incredible. Incredible. I don't know. I think there's just way too many movies. I can't even. On the spot. I just don't know. I don't know.
The Revenant?
What's that?
The Revenant?
I actually only watched half of that, and I think I was really tired and I couldn't pick it up. So I was like, I'm gonna come back to that, and I never came back to it. I don't know.
What about, have you heard of the Coen brothers?
The what?
The Coen brothers.
No.
No? No Country for Old Men.
The what?
No Country for Old Men.
No.
You haven't heard that?
No. No. I actually just don't know. I can't think right now. I need something in front of me.
TV shows.
I liked. This was all when I was like 16 though. I was like fangirling over like Teen Wolf and Pretty Little Liars and The Vampire Diaries and Grey's Anatomy. So those are like my TV shows. But now I'm like fangirling over like Stranger Things. And,
What is it about Stranger Things?
the difference of it. Like, I haven't seen anything like it. I love the retro vibe. I love characters. I love the way that it's written. I just love everything about it. I like that. I've never seen anything quite like it. Whereas everything else I used to watch was very like the same sort of thing, or I want something exactly the same. But this was something completely different, which is exactly what I want to be a part of. Which excites me even more to, push for something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
So you like the 80s look and stuff?
What's that?
The 80s look.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Because like you don't see it very often anymore. I know like the flare pants and everything's like making a return, but just something about the simpleness of it or something. It's awesome. Yeah.
It's like a different world, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess like everything's so different and it's not necessarily better or anything. I don't know. Something about it's good.
The fact there's so much to start with,
Yeah.
like, will be eternal now, sort of, like forever, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
totally. A lot lot of the stuff that's coming out on Netflix at the moment is just like not of quality, you know. And I think like The Stranger Things, when it came out, I was like, this is actually kind of quality compared to this day and age's, I don't know, typical movie.
Yeah.
Which I feel like back in the day there was the quality of movies were just unbeatable, and now it's a bit, you know. So I kind of want to bring it. I want to come into that world and be part of the quality. I don't know. If you know what I mean. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I just read this book and it was called The Tattoo Thief. Have you heard of it? And it's just, yeah, it was interesting because I like reading like detective books and like crime books. So it was like about that, and it was about this guy, and he was, well, this person, and they were going around collecting tattoos of people's bodies. But it was just, yeah, it was awesome. It was cool. Loved it.
Sounds
And
graphic.
It was actually really graphic. But it was good, you know. And then I read, I can't even remember what. I'm starting to read the chain of the TikTok viral books of Colleen Hoover or whatever. So she's got like 15 books, and like each one of them have gone viral on TikTok. So I'm just like starting to read them.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
they're good. I can see the hype, but yeah, I've never been much of a book person, but when I find one I like, I really like it. And I'm starting to get really like into reading books to wind down. Like we read one in school, and it was 1984.
Yeah,
Read that.
yeah.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even put it down. And then we were learning about it, and I was like, I love this. Like, so good. Such a well written book. So yeah, I'm kind of a book person, kind of not. I'm coming into it. I think I needed to have good recommendations. There's so many books that I picked up, and I was just like, this is not it. I'm bored. Bedtime. You know. So, but recently I found heaps of enjoying it. Yeah. What about you? What's your favourite books?
It's just in my bedroom. It's full of DVDs, books,
Oh my god.
and vinyls.
What's your favourite book right now?
It's one called My Struggle.
Okay.
That's the English version title.
Right.
The guy, the author's from Norway.
Yeah.
Would not know how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
He's very Scandinavian now.
Right.
He wrote a book. I think he was starting to write a journal. About his life, like just a personal journal.
Yeah.
Like he's a professional writer and all that. He was
Yeah.
like an editor for some literary magazine. And he said when his father died, he said he thought writing a journal would help out,
Yeah.
like help his emotions. Like he was the family. Him and his brother was the one that was up to them to clean out his dad's house and organise it.
Yeah.
And it just turned into like a novel.
Yeah.
So the thing, he passed what he wrote in his journal to his publishing firm because they'll put into a book.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, so he wrote a fictionalized version of his life.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Fiction but fact at the same time.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And he got famous for like writing, remembering explicit memories in detail.
Yeah.
And drawing out his morning like in detail and
Yeah.
like wrote actual real life events. Like
Yeah.
yeah, because he thought he wanted to be a father until he started changing nappies.
And he's like, nope. This is me.
Sort of thing. And he talked about always falling in and out of his love with his wife.
Right.
And then he talked about how he thought he always wanted a family. Doing the right thing was having a family, but you lose so much individuality.
Yeah.
And he wrote about hating his job, loving his job, having money, traveling. And
Brutally honest.
yeah, being
brutally
yeah.
him.
And apparently, like a couple of things that Scandinavian, Norwegian cultures, like you keep things private, you don't openly express yourself.
Right. Okay.
And
So he's going against the social
yeah,
norms.
and he would write like so he spent his working life in literature, so he's very artistic. Like he would write like 200 pages on a single painting, like on his book, and
Wow, it's amazing.
My struggle.
Yeah.
But the Norwegian, the Scandinavian way is similar to the German way of spelling and pronunciation.
Yeah.
It's my call. But the thing is, you know, Hitler is and stuff.
Yeah.
Hitler wrote a novel about before the war and all that, called Mein
Right.
Kampf as well.
Yeah.
And he wanted the people wanted to change the title, but he didn't want to change the title because of that. And apparently he wrote 6 volumes
Yeah.
of his whatever, his life, whatever.
Yeah.
So he started writing on his father's death and ended on a 200-page thesis on Hitler.
Wow.
So that's
Holy.
just that, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy.
my calm. Yeah. But little things I like, I'm a big fan of the Beats, an old writing generation. Zadie Smith, yeah.
No.
Little things, I've just finished reading all of Charles Dickens' books.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, a lot of old ones. Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very boring.
No, don't be silly. You're not. That's right.
Yeah? No, sorry.
Yeah.
You weren't, yeah.
I thrive on the change.
Yeah.
I hate when things are the same. So
Okay.
yeah, whatever. If this doesn't work or it's not working for me and I don't enjoy it, then I'll find something else. And in the end, that I might not want to go in that direction, so I'll change over here. And that's just who I am. I'm a very changed up kind of person, which keeps things interesting for me. Don't know about everyone else. Everyone's probably like, just plan something, just do something. So,
Stick to it,
Yeah.
tough now.
but I don't think that's me, and I'd be probably lying to myself if I said it was, you know. So gotta follow this dream that I've had since I was 12. I always wanted to be an actress, but yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah.
So you want to be an actress?
Yeah.
Have you thought about things you are open to doing, as an actress?
I think I'm open to do everything.
Okay.
I'm not someone who has, like, obviously I have boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm pretty comfortable doing most things, you know. I think until something's in front of me, I guess I wouldn't really know what I'm comfortable doing, what I'm not
That makes
comfortable doing.
sense, yeah.
Obviously, straight off the bat, there's things I would say no to.
Oh, of course.
But in context, depending on who it is, where it is, who it's with,
yeah,
you know,
that's most people.
you can't really judge what you would and what you wouldn't do. But yeah, I think predominantly I do pretty much anything. You know, not out of I'll just go here, I'll just whatever. I'm genuinely happy
Yeah.
to do it. You know, and I want to do it. I want to bring what they had in mind to life as best I can. You know? But yeah, obviously there's boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
so-
course, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's good, yeah. It's good that people speak up about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing,
Yeah, of course, and like it is a you know, my job. So
Yeah.
there's gonna be certain things that I'm gonna have to be like, look, I'd rather not, but yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would be happy to.
Yeah, I know what you mean,
Yeah. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah. No, it's good that people hear it too, from
Yeah.
other people as well.
Yeah.
Never knowing that identity gives us a force for meaning, finding it, mastering it, experiencing the loss or the grieving and death of coping mechanisms that we had grown so attached to. So the identity can be applied as diluted daily actions. Finally, people are talking about toxic positive affirmations. Those elicit such vibes. The philosophy depends on the law of attraction. But flaws? I dare say, are personal diseases. They corrupt, regardless of the result. Ignorance is a flaw. It's caused more damage to people than the individual level. Anyone could ever... Let me say that again. Ignorance is a flaw. It's caused more damage to people than on the individual level anyone would ever admit. And suddenly, there are abused children, battered wives, the unemployed, a welfare state or a portion of it allows themselves, lacking effort to and formal publication of understanding towards mental illness, including the interaction between people, illiterate, working poorly paid jobs, even the individual impact one has on their immediate world.
So what's been happening?
I actually don't know what to say. What do you want to talk about?
Being a good person.
Being a good person. I feel like there's no such thing as a good and a bad person. I feel like there's only someone who is a person that does bad things. I think it's not hard to be a good person. I think, well, for me, my whole core is about others and helping everyone else before myself. I think it's sad that there is people out there that don't feel the same, and everyone is different, and that's what makes the world go around, I guess. But in terms of what being a good person, I think it's so important, because you never know what someone's going through. You never know what's behind the mask, you know. And I think that it's really, really important that we treat everyone, you know, the same, or with kindness, because that's just at the core of everything, isn't it? Happiness is at the core of everything, and you can't be happy if everyone in the world isn't nice to you, I guess. So to me, being a good person is everything, really. Yeah.
That's right.
What about you? What makes a good person in your eyes?
Somebody who grows up, maturity, I guess. Responsibility. A little diverse of everything.
Yeah.
Various wise.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, but there's a difference between
A mistake and cruelty.
there's
Two
that as
very-
well. Yeah, there's that as well. If it's a continuation of it sort of thing, and yeah, we're all bad at something as well.
Yeah.
Like we're all lacking something, but it's been ownership of it too.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So
Totally.
which, yeah.
I think as long as you accept your flaws,
Yeah.
and you acknowledge that, hey, yeah, you're not perfect,
Yeah.
and you even if you try and work on them,
Yeah.
you know, you can be better and better every day.
That's why I said being honest, because it
Yeah.
causes less damage or
Yeah.
problems if
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I get it, you got other things to do in life.
Mm.
It's like you
Yeah.
can't just be in that sort of self-growth all the time.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's allowed to have room for their flaws and room for, you know, it was an accident, it was a mistake, and that's what makes humanity. No one is ever going to be perfect, but I think as long as you own up to them and you don't, as long as it's not cruel or unjust, or I think for me that's what makes a person. Yeah.
So you look for ways to contribute like that?
Yeah, I think like I've said before, I think it's important that for me in my role in this world is to make a difference. I'm always striving to be better. I'm always striving to be nicer, or to make someone's day, or to work harder than I did yesterday, or go out of my way and make someone feel happy the next day. You know, I always, no matter what it is, whether it's a job, whether it's family, my goal in life is to make a difference.
Yeah.
Whether that's in my life or in someone else's life, that's what I want to be. I want to be something more than just what I was yesterday.
Yeah, That just reminds me of like, you heard of a bloke called Jordan Peterson?
No.
You haven't?
No.
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 Oh, okay. Well, yeah. It just reminds me of a quote that somebody just said. If you compare yourself to who you were yesterday to who somebody else is today.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
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 I think no matter, you can never really go backwards. I think if you're always moving forwards, there's never going to be a backwards.
Yeah.
And if you try something new every day or try something, while death hovers all over us at all times. But hey, it's easy to look away. I've often done it myself. If it's in arm's reach, why bother looking over? I've lived a life where I didn't see the interplay of ready-made standards or individuality connected to humility. I had failed in understanding I could grow into originality without causing arguments with family, be a part of peers that I don't. So start again.
Yep.
Without causing arguments with family, be a part of peers so I don't come to peer pressure or look down, uphold compassion that it won't be entirely self-sacrificing in my cause, that any power I have acquired could have been entirely out of genuine respect, that I could inspire towards others for good, at least be an assistance to do the same, that won't lead to codependency on an adopted parent. Growth should never be aligned with personal risk, but the truth is relativism. It isn't a cause of absence or of evil. Oh, the hands of a woman hold so much, like how Adam followed to eat the apply, like how love itself could change for him. Wait, start again. Sorry. Oh, how the hands of a woman hold so much, like how Adam followed to eat apply, like how love itself could change him for the better. The power, it's truly dormant until, though the question of telling if they are the right person, though you can't but decide. Sorry, let me start again. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Like how love itself could change him for the better. The power is truly dormant until, though the question of telling if they are the right person, though you can't but rather decide it than discover it. Sexual attraction isn't the same of a fulfilling relationship. A good man is someone independent of the world, pulling one into frame, not to the present so proudly, to find responsibility, to move the hands of time somewhat forward. A tough one. Where does the value of human life come from? The paradox is the answers aren't from the pool of mythological stories. It is so bad that the prayers go unanswered, but it breaks me that they fall on deaf ears. I really don't know if fear is the start of anything, but I fear being in it. Do my sins get forgiven if I still feel shame and regret? Why is it that so many people hurt those who are genuinely able to grow and then run sabotaging themselves? I can no longer be comforted with apples. Be in the maturity until you get bored, and when you do, outgrow yourself. Don't confuse feeling and thinking. The emotional alignment to being growth. The acting getting one's life together to obtain a growing and an ever-expanding character. The rise from the fall. The recovery process from the recovery. The born again, starting over. Whatever way to put it, forgiveness, born again, so on. It may be like a do-over, but doesn't fully resolve the consequences. How do I measure personal growth? Like, I don't know the lack of one's hurt. How does being kind solve everything? Using any ideology in this world as an absolute thinking with one's mind is not detrimental to the one, but the reality that this world is forever connected to. Even in absolute truths can be detriment. Absolutes have their limits. Tragedy happens. Death happens. Loss happens. Should I continue? If anyone can expand on morality, shouldn't they? And why aren't they famous for doing so? I do think the mundane, or having mainstream in society, isn't an accidental discovery. But I do think laziness isn't either. Lying is a mosaic of secular sin too. Lying prevents the person believing it from adjusting to reality. Though it is not for the person to become purely educated in humility. This is a paradox. Be moral and mature and never settle in. One grows, the other is limited. I never ask you where you are. A books of philosophy cognitive artifacts. Have you ever had a conversation with someone? I mean, like, living life to the fullest is an attractive idea. It's seductive, but all I hear or see is the underlying self-resentment, personal mistakes, resentment towards each other, missed opportunities, all of that and more. This all outweighs whatever is good about the person. With those growing, fuck, they live lonely lives. When you never use any time to improve yourself, you betray reality, and that bites back before the physical act of death. Ideologies are a way to simplify knowledge, to translate actions, but it often leads to restriction in the wisdom of thinking and expansion. When that happens, society restricts itself. To decline your understanding is declining the progression of what is right. That could be you. A philosopher thought of worth in how much truth someone can tolerate. But at least by declining understanding, you are forfeiting the right to complain. Dying inside? From what? Improving is a little bit of dying, isn't it? When things go too far, please explode to the hardest. Sure, you can be an atheist, but there is no right not to be a better person. Is having a moral hero good? Has anyone thought about their emotions and if they're moral? Like morals, I think art is supposed to change, not to devalue anything, to find purity while accepting there will be no pure art. There's nothing I can do to change that. Not to change with the times, that will stem from that. But always art should parallel finding the truth. Finding absolute truths is pure danger. I missed my chance to be young. I am so used to being alone, I think at times it's the best way. This goes on all the time. There is no change. And now reality has been built for me. I think any change that would hurt the reality created around me being so lonely. I find both social and cultural history utterly fascinating. It distracts me from my personal history. Everyone else either looks young or old. But regardless of it all, it is a reflection of morals. I'm conscious. It weighs heavy on me. Like how philosophy has issues with people using ideology to think of devoting in a biographic point of view. Don't do it. Secular or not. For ideas of free thought or art, there should never be a centre point for it. Just let it exist. Isn't something that every day is resented to be avoided, but it's interwoven throughout and global war has been fought over. I am subject to temptation, to sit, to watch the television, relax and breathe out, never to worry. Should academics ever turn to art? There is no contemporary when people are involved. Just new trends yearning for the mainstream. No one ever calls me. I'm beginning to think I am too dull for you. but makes for a good loner. Knowledge is dispersed, fragments, large pieces, and so on. Attest to an existing something. I am in my world, offer perception only. I am unsatisfied with myself, so insecure. Let only those who make original culture be praised. Let only those who can expand morals be praised. Let those else be included, but it's always the mass that's certifying the canon. Quotations are not written to confirm personal convictions. The weakness of humanity, therefore, lies in me.